Hello and welcome to another scene for the Living World of Darkness, Changeling the Dreaming Venue. Today's scene sees us at an Airbnb home for rent. The people who are renting out this place aren't home, probably have never lived there, as it is now the standard to just have a home that is a front for Airbnb. And somebody has made accommodations for this night. Tell me, somebody, what are you up to?
Charles has set up a nice, he has made sure he got here early, made sure he had the keys to the place and everything like that, met with the people who gave him the nice little tour of the establishment. I mean, granted, it is still it's an Airbnb, home for rent for, a little apartment, home away from home sort of thing. It's a relatively nice place. He made sure it was at least looked like something that would be a place he might live in. Keep up that appearance at the very least, that this might be his place. Granted, it's nothing like his own fancy high-rise apartment or anything along those lines, but he's taken the time the next few hours to make the place not necessarily look lived in, but definitely like his own personal sort of touches. He's got what seems to be some, for lack of a better term, catered dishes ready, waiting for when a guest or so too might arrive. He's actually got 3 sets out there. Given the fact Rob had insinuated that it's like, oh, I can set up a meeting kind of thing, he wanted to at least make the appearance that perhaps, even though he's probably not going to be there, given the circumstances, it's a mutual acquaintance, that Rob might be along or not. It all depends on the way the evening goes. If anything, you can always say I always leave out a third set. You never know when guests might show up. But he's got plenty of different delectables in there. And he's actually got a few stranger, more exotic things. As a matter of fact, some of it was rather expensive to get. And there's 1 or 2 dishes he has in preparation, should it come that far. That might be some good talking pieces. And of course, he has wine ready to be opened up. And he's got a few other things prepared around the place that might seem relatively innocuous, but might have certain keys to certain phrases, to certain magics, when he's ready to set them falling like dominoes. And Charles waits for Savannah. That he walks over and he peeks through. Luckily, they also have a peephole.
Mm-hmm. Standing outside the door, wearing a large overcoat, is a wide-eyed, not too bad to look at, Redcap. Since Charles doesn't know Savannah personally, he can only assume that that's who this is.
He knows that it was a Redcap that did it, and he knew it was a she. And Rob did make sure that she would know where to go. So Charles puts on his best winning smile. And he opens the door. And of course, as always, for the people who are meeting him with this moment, it's like that change in the atmosphere. The humidity changes, everything about it. Just his presence just envelops and wraps them up. And yet his words still bite so deep, so cold. And yet you can't help but hang on to every last one of them.
Savannah gives a slight shudder in the immediate presence of Charles, but recovers with a slow, rolling look up towards him and a wide, toothy grin. I'm sorry, I thought I was meeting Rav here.
Ah, Rav will be along in the next hour or so. I'm sorry he texted me already. He's going to be a little late. But I have dinner set up for 3. Please come in.
Oh, so this is going to be a fun night, is it?
I
She
would
said
say so.
she enters the home and like brushes past Charles.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't recoil away from him like anyone with good sense would,
Mm-hmm.
but just kind of like brushes against him with her shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Charles doesn't respond too much, but he closes the door. May I take your coat for you, or would you prefer to leave it on for the time being?
Well, I don't know. Do you think Rob is the kind of man who likes surprises, or is he more of a peek at the presents early kind of guy?
Mm. I think that for the time being, I think we'd all like to be surprised.
Well, then I guess I'll keep the coat on.
Hmm. Do you like red or white? I wasn't. I didn't want to assume, so I got one of each. He's referring to the wine.
Red.
Red. As I said, I didn't want to assume. I always am one not to believe necessarily in stereotypes.
Stereotypes come from somewhere, don't they, sugar?
I would say they do. And just to make sure, Rob said your name was Savannah? Was that correct?
Well, I don't remember if I told him my name or not, but you're not wrong.
I swear he did. Oh. He sort of shrugs.
2 ships passing in the night. Honestly, I'm surprised he gave me a call, but a good time's a good time.
I should say so. And he hands the glass of the red to her. To a night of fun.
So much fun, she says, and clinks her glass against his, just a little rough.
Mm-hmm. And he just takes a nice slow sip as he gazes at her for a moment. Now, as I said, I don't want to believe in stereotypes, but you're not vegetarian, are you?
Do I look vegetarian?
Good. Nothing here is. And he pulls out the first. He pulls out something for the first thing. It's we'll get into some of the more messy stuff a little later, but I think start with just a little bit of the ribbon on top of the present, so to speak. He says he lifts it up, and it's this sort of like goose liver pate sort of thing, and that nice little like round sort of gelatin and stuff like that.
Fancy. She reaches into her purse and pulls out like it looks like a hot sauce bottle.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a red liquid inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't have a label.
Mm.
And she'll throw a dash on like a spoonful of whatever it is she's about to eat the pate, and she'll stick it in her mouth and then do the like slow like cleaning of the spoon, where you like the cliche of sucking it clean.
Mm.
Delicious.
Mm. I hope the that just elevated it. So then he takes his own bite of his and smiles behind those diamond teeth.
She'll push the bottle towards him. Would you like to try?
He takes it, gazes at it for a time being. And he puts a small dab on his finger.
It has that rusty metallic taste of blood.
You should try it with lemongrass sometime.
Well.
And he says as he puts it down, oddly enough, he doesn't even flinch.
She gives him kind of a crooked smile. I'll be sure to check my herb garden, see what I've got in stock. She says with a roll of her eyes.
You really get the full body of it at room temperature. Or should I say body temperature?
Maybe I should start keeping this close to me. Keep it at the right temperature. And she'll throw a few more drops on whatever it is she's eating before like putting the lid back on it and stuffing it like in the cleavage area.
Making that all look, Joe. That kind of thing. So 2 ships passing in the night, and I have the honor of being the third wheel this evening. It's quite fascinating.
Wheels on a ship usually are, dear.
Wheels on a ship. Usually we find wheels when it's the one steering the course, but who's steering the course?
Well, it feels like you're trying to, but what are you driving at?
Who's to say? I'd like to think that I have a course plotted out, but these be treacherous waters. Who knows what might rise out from the depths?
Well, Rav didn't seem like he was into anything too bizarre last time, but I don't know what arrangement the two of you have, so luckily I have an open mind.
I think a song once put it well. This is so nice. I get to sleep with the same girl twice. They say you get to do the weird stuff at the second time.
Oh. I'm very weird the second time around.
Well, I can only imagine if it's going to be weird the second time around, what it's going to be like for me. And he pulls out this next thing, and it's actually the main. He decides to go straight to the main course here on this one, and he lifts it up, and basically on skewers in the middle of a spit is roast conies.
He rolls some thing to see if she recognizes it as a reference. Because Maxine wasn't exactly in great shape when she found it.
What? No. Crazy.
So let's see. Perception and what? I don't think she has anything to add to that. So.
No. So
Nope.
she's at difficult 77 on that one.
70.
70. 7. I meant 7. Sorry.
Yes, that's fine.
She might start picking something up, but we'll see. Nope.
Nothing is perceived from these rabbits. She just kind of looks at them. Looks a little bony.
I heard they're quite the treasure once you start biting into them.
Well, if you say so. And she'll pick up a skewer and open her mouth wider and wider and wider until she can fit the entire coney in her gaping redcap maw.
Mm-hmm.
She slides it through the skewer through her teeth and just crunches through the bone, making eye contact with Charles the entire time.
Whoa, here she comes. Watch out, Rob. She'll chew you up.
Oh. I thought you said he'd like surprises. She thinks you're only referring to her mouth.
I know. I know. Won't that be worthless? Well, goat tends to be a bit stringy, but I think you find yourself won't have any issues with that. And he, of course, he does actually eat a bit of the rabbit. Might seem a little weird given the fact, it's a symbolic representation of his friendship with Maxine, but he's keeping on the appearance. He's keeping that coolness, keep things looking right. Tell me, do you dance?
Why did you need me to get up on the table in order for you to get your jollies?
Oh, no. I'm not talking about that kind of dance. I know another red cap who does that just fine. No, I meant, do you know how to dance? Swing, ballroom, tango, salsa.
What a charmed life you must think I live, honey.
Well, we've got plenty of time. I could teach you.
I mean, I suppose, he says, and gives him this sort of weird look, like, why am I sitting here tolerating this?
Yeah. And Charles gets up and he turns on the music, and it's a very it's not like a classical waltz or something. There's a little more energy to it. It starts off not necessarily slow, but as the pace will go up, it gets faster and faster and faster. And he goes, I was mainly picking out music because, perhaps that's me being stereotypical. I figured satyrs would enjoy a good deal of music to liven up their activities. If anything, I want to try and be accommodating to all that I meet. And he reaches out his hand to,
And she'll take his hand, and she follows along with dancing fairly well. That's the roll I just did, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not fantastic, but she's not stepping on him.
Okay, I'll just roll his 5 dice here just to see what he's doing. 2 successes for him as well. So it's they're moving pretty easy. As they're swinging around, Charles is getting a moment where he's getting caught up in the movement of the music, and it's speeding up and speeding up and it's speeding up. And he's almost lost for a moment back in a ballroom, spinning with people. His body is all around him. His current partner spinning. Oh, she already has blood. She has blood all over her from the passersby. Or is it her own? He doesn't quite remember. But he's dancing with them. He's dancing with them. And for a moment, he's remembering that other title, the reason why that other title, the one that doesn't get thrown around as much anymore. And he comes back to reality for a moment. He's dancing with her, and he smiles, and it starts spinning her around and goes, "You're actually very good on your feet." I would expect that the wine might have. It looks like the wine has loosened you up quite well.
Well, I'm surprised as you are. Usually people are more interested in me off my feet.
Oh. Well, we don't want to rush things too fast, too quickly, now do we? After all, the moment if someone gets swept off their feet too fast, certainly the phrase, step on a crack, break your mother's back, break your femur, kill a dreamer, break your mother's femur. Hey, I'm trying to find the right. I had the rhythm. There was a rhyme I had. Cause the pond to ripple. Why, you might just end up a cripple, he says as he spins her. And that's when he bunks. The whole dance was him bunking, naming to name her cripple.
I'll give you a -3 for that.
Okay. As he spins her. So let's see how well that goes. 7 at diff 5. That is 3 successes. So if this was to go more than a week, she'd be crippled for a week. As he spins her and lets go.
And as he lets go, her knees give out from under her, and she crashes to the floor. She tries to stand back up, but her legs aren't cooperating, and she looks up at Charles. What did you do?
Oh, honey, he says with a large smile. I figured I liked Coney so much, you'd like to have the rest of it. And he starts to, and he doesn't get closer to her, but the thorns start to grow up around, and she can they weren't necessarily subdued. There might have been hints of it crawling around, but they're starting to crawl around the place a lot more. Now I know you wouldn't know who I am. And I know Rob's not expecting the little surprise you have down below.
She looks bewildered, but still furious as she keeps trying to stand up, giving it that sort of flailing newborn animal look as she tries to fix herself.
Now look at you. On the ground, writhing around, possibly at the end of your rope. Ready for the vultures to come picking away at whatever shiny, beautiful valuables you have.
Is this like your sick kink or something?
I don't know. Why don't you tell me? He says, is he looking at her? Do you enjoy picking gemstones off the dead like some crow? Do you enjoy hanging around those who would just commit wanton slaughter and pick off the reap the benefits of war. Oh yes, Savannah, you definitely seem like someone who would take something from others and not know the value. Let me tell you something. Let me give you a preview, he says, of what people are going to hear this weekend. And he starts to speak the poem. She tries to it. He ignores her and powers through telling the poem. If you want me to do a presence something or performance, whatever, you can make me do that just to see if I can captivate her in whatever he's saying, despite her fury.
If you're trying to do like a manipulation to kind of like make her cower, manipulation, intimidation, otherwise a performance to enrapture, depending on
intimidation. He's trying to cow her.
Okay.
And even with the beauty of this friendship poem, it's going to be very just menacing. So, see how that goes. Only 2 successes. Oh no, actually, wait, I forgot. It's a diff 3 for him. One moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes. There we go.
She's Louise.
Yeah. As he says this poem, and it's beautiful, it's sad, it's tragic and everything, but there's subtle ways he's doing it. Something that it's showing that the way he's saying it especially to her, maybe it's the way his pitch is going. Maybe it's the way he's tweaking it. Maybe it's the way he looks at her at certain moments, where it's just bringing on the fact that she did despite how beautiful this is, she ruined it.
She's sort of like pushing herself away from him as he recites this poem with his awful menace. Since her legs aren't working, she has to use her hands to sort of push herself away from him, edging herself until she's pressed up against a wall.
Now, Savannah, let me ask you something. If someone took that from you, or mutilated whatever remained of it, what would you do?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, of course you don't. You gulped down that rabbit just fine. Just like you gulped down her finger to get at that ring.
Things finally start to click in her head. And she curls her lip in a snarl, and in an act of defiance, she looks at him. Oh, is she a friend of yours? She went down so nice. A little crunchy for my taste, but when you let a finger rot in your pocket for a week, it's bound to happen.
Ah, yes. She was quite delicious. I'm sure she was. And you know, once upon a time, I would have loved to have seen her shattered on the floor. But not like that. Not like your little barbaric ways. But you never answered my question, Savannah. What you would do if someone took something that precious for you? Or is it because you don't have anything that precious? You're alone, Savannah. No one cares about you. And even those that you try to get close to, you push them away. You hang on like a bottom feeder. And he gets a little closer, but he's not like going to be like right on top pouncing. Mm-hmm. He still has some presence of mind that despite her legs, her arms definitely might still be strong enough to shove her in his direction.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes on. No, Savannah, you're alone. And tonight, after tonight, no one would care what happens to you. And his eyes glow wide as he's doing this as more of an intimidation and a show of power, and to let her know that she is helpless. She's got nothing, and that's why he's invoking the weird on here right now. What's the ambient difficulty of this place, so I know what the roll for it is?
It's standard banality.
Okay, so 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, doesn't work. Oh, well. So much for that.
She can still see Charles for Charles, but she wouldn't.
Yeah. They'd be like caught up in that glory or anything like that. No, but it's still something. He's still getting there, and it's like the thorns are like twisting around in there, and he's like getting ready to still pounce. He's like, despite the fact that the dreaming is not giving him everything he wants to have for this moment, he is there. He's poised. He's ready to do something for her. He's ready to pour the curses of curses upon her for taking this thing, something that she'll never understand. And as he's staring at her in this thing, this defiant yet still cowering woman down below him, he's looking, and a voice echoes in his mind. Someone else. Be kind. And he pauses for just a long moment as he's staring at her. He doesn't move. The thorns keep moving, though. They're creeping around, almost trying to grasp at her, but they don't, actually reach her or anything like that. But he's staring at her. He's staring, and he's hearing Rebecca's words, be kind. They call me a kindly one. I'm not kind, Savannah. They call me... They call me a good cousin. I'm not good. I don't have kindness in me. But you know who did?
She shakes her head.
The one who picked you, whose corpse you picked. She had kindness. Maybe it made her end up in that place to be picked off by you. And by those that you surrounded yourself with at the time. But there was one thing she always believed. That people could change if given the right amount of kindness. So, he says, as he walks over, and he takes out the remaining trays of food, and he slides it over to her. All the rest of it. He just leaves that, and like it's almost like a semicircle, just like not out of her reach, but right there. So, to you, the most undeserving, the most lonely and wretched of them all, the most undeserving of any kindness this world has to offer, I give you what you don't deserve. Because that's the point. You're going to live knowing you don't deserve the kindness you get. You're going to live with that every day as everyone shows you everything that you never showed them. And that is his naming to nickname her someone in need of kindness.
Is it just the words or the semicircle?
The semicircle of food and the words and all that coming together, and the
Okay.
fact that he's going to leave her in the apartment. If she wants to save, that's fine. He's not going to stop her.
Okay. I'll say -4.
Too late to do that. Ah, come on. Let me have something for an extended period of time. Oh, well. Shit, I can't mulligan it. Oh well, too late. Too late. Only for the next day. Who knows what a day might do? Who knows what a day might do? Ah, I could have put time on it. Ah, well. Too late.
Charles is still getting used to time being a thing for him. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. Exactly. So with that, he goes. And to kick it off, he picks up a phone and he dials. Yes, hello? Yes, I think I heard someone fall upstairs and I don't think they can get up. Could you please send someone over? Yes, the number is blah, 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 blah. Thank you. Please hurry. I don't think they can, I haven't heard any movement. Yes, please. Thank you. Boop. Sets it down. Have a good night, Savannah.
She's giving him like this bewildered look as she like reaches out. What are you doing? Where are you going?
He just looks at her and goes, I'm leaving. I'm going to leave. And I'm not going to seek you out anymore. If we meet again, it's going to be because you either seek me out or because we happen to meet in happenstance. I've given you a gift, Savannah, and I don't give gifts lightly. Use it well. And that he closes the door. He's going to leave her as crippled for like the next hour, just so when the ambulance arrives and stuff, she's still like having trouble moving and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But just as like they're probably going to wheel her away, he is just going to end that bit of the spell. But he leaves her in that apartment. He doesn't know where she's going. Here he is, or where he's going, but he goes out for a walk, and there's just this empty sort of feeling he has as he's staring out across the piers. Why did he do that? He should have hurt her more. He should have torn her apart. He should have picked apart all her little insecurities. He had her right there. Why didn't he? Why did he? It seemed so right at the time. It's what Maxine would have given kindness, but not him. Maxine would have shown pity. Did he pity her? And he's staring at the water. Someone so alone. He's lonely too. It wasn't until Maxine came into his life that he realized how alone he actually was. He stares out across the water. For the next 24 hours, she'll have kindness shown to her. He would have liked it to be more. Really make that settle in deep. But perhaps, was it the magic that made him, or no, that was him. Kindly one. I had her right there. For all that she did, that wretched thing. And I let her go. And he's silent as he stares across the water. Eventually he hears sirens. They go up. Perhaps it's her sirens. Perhaps not, he's not sure. But he doesn't takes a while for him before he decides to take the cab. He didn't have this happen in Manhattan. It would have been a little too suspicious, but he doesn't take a cab, or he doesn't hail a cab, or he take an Uber or anything for a long time. He just walks through the night, despite the dangers of the streets of New York, as he's just grappling with strangeness of what he just did. And there's something else he said. He just sort of sneers for a moment. I can't forgive her. Not even after what I did to give her a chance. He's just silent for a long moment. And he looks up. Was it her that I had to forgive, though? And he stares into one of the glass windows for a long moment as he's staring at himself. And he stares at his reflection, and he peeks down at it. And he says, Cararis, you're in a great deal of pain, aren't you? Why is that? And it's not like one of those things where it's like, the reflections start talking back to him for a moment, but it's almost like in a weird way he almost feels like he is. Because you failed, Charles. No, you failed Cararis. You failed her. She's dead, and you failed to keep her. But she's still here. Yes, but you know it's not her. It's not the Maxine you knew. It might be a bit of a lass, but it's not the same. You failed her. You know that. And you had your chance to let all that anger out, and you didn't. You spared her. You let her go. And what's more, you gave her the things she didn't deserve. And look at you, hollow. Unable to comprehend this. Why is that, Cararis? You're not angry anymore. You're just empty. No joy, no anger, no vengeance. What is there left? Nothing. It's time to move on, Cararis. It's time. And he pauses to forgive. And he sort of like touches his mouth for a moment because that he wasn't sure if that was his own lips that did that. His own words. It sounded like him. It was his way, but forgive. And he looks. And he's not looking at himself. He's seeing Charles in the reflection, which is odd for him, a little more superimposed. You failed her, yes. But was it really your fault? Of course it was. I made a promise. You made a promise. Blood and bone, yes. But you can't be there all the time for her. She gave you something wonderful. Something you had never knew you had. And you lost it. It's horrible. It's painful. You've never known that pain. But you have to know what that pain is. It's because you can't. It's because you can't let go. Of the fact that perhaps there wasn't anything you could have done. Charles. No. Cararis. It's okay to be angry. What happened was terrible. But you can't burn yourself like this. Otherwise, this emptiness you're feeling, that's all you'll have left. Barren earth. And what would that be for the friend you lost, who tilled that soil for you to help you grow? Stop blaming yourself, Charles. Cararis. Whoever you are. Let it go. You're not here. You're not here. I devoured you. There's nothing left but your memories and my dreams. And I dream that you can forgive yourself. Can you? He looks at himself. He looks at his hands, his marbled hands. And he sees the one there, the cut was made, and he almost subconsciously traces it. Promised I'd find you again, didn't I? This isn't the end. is only the beginning of a brand new story. Maxine is gone. There's no bringing her back. I failed you in this life. And maybe I'll fail you in the next. There's one thing I won't fail, and that's being your friend. Every life I will be your friend, and I'll tarry that pain. And one day, I'll learn to forgive myself. And with that, he finally leaves the window. And makes his way home.
And that's where we'll end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We'll see you next time.